So today's video is going to cover the MYE Transmitter installation and receiver programming. First part of the video is going to be the MYE Transmitter installation. Here are the components that come in the MYE Transmitter box. You're going to have the transmitter power supply, the RCA audio cables, and the optical audio cable. When installing the audio cables, we would prefer to use the optical audio cable, but if the customer does not have that option, we then can use the RCA audio cables. The MYE transmitter comes with 5 different transmitter type options. So the first one is going to be the MYE Entertainment. If we're doing a brand new install and just using our transmitters, we'll be using the MYE Entertainment transmitter type 1. If the customer has cardio theater or broadcast vision in an existing club and we're adding an additional transmitter, we need to make sure that we're actually setting the transmitter to whichever options they currently have in the facility. The reason for this is that each option transmits at a slightly different frequency. We will talk about this more in the receiver programming. So now we're going to go ahead and install the antenna on the transmitter itself. In the back, you'll actually see the transmitter antenna socket on the left. I'm going to go ahead and screw that in. Starting from the right, you're going to see the power inlet, and then the RCA plugs, and then the optical audio in. We're going to go ahead and use the digital optical audio in. So when using the optical cable, we need to make sure that we take off the protective covers on each end of the cable. If not, we will not be able to insert them into the TV or the transmitter itself. So here I go ahead and remove the plastic protective covers. At this point, we're going to go ahead, put it into the transmitter itself. There's a specific way that it goes in. Go ahead, it's plugged in now. So now we can go ahead and connect it to the TV. Before we connect the transmitter to the TV, we're going to go ahead and set the transmitter type and the channel. In this situation, we're going to be using number 1 for MYE Entertainment. So on the dial on the left, which says TX mode, we're going to select 1. Since this is our first transmitter, we're going to leave the first dial set to 0, and then the second dial, we're going to set that to 1. If we were doing more channels, we would continue with the dial on the right and go all the way up until 9. Once we hit 10, we would have to set the dial on the left to 1, the dial on the right to 0, and we would continue that. 20 would be dial on the left to 2, and then the dial on the right to 0, and so on. So at this point, we're ready to go ahead and attach the transmitter to the TV with the optical cable or the RCA cables. So at this time, we're going to go ahead and check to see what the customer has. In this case, they have an optical out, so we're going to go ahead and use that. Now we're going to go ahead and plug in the power supply into the transmitter. And we're going to temporarily mount the transmitter on the back of the TV. When installing these transmitters, we want to make sure that we're zip tying it to the frame itself on the back of the TV bracket so they do not fall. Okay, and then you would go ahead and zip tie any of the remaining cable from the power supply. Once we have the power supply in, on the left you'll see the power indicator. On the right you'll see the audio indicator. The audio indicator will only turn on when there's audio being broadcasted through the TV into the transmitter. Here you can see we're broadcasting a video. You see the power on the left and then the audio on the right. As long as the TV is transmitting an audio signal, we will see the audio light on. In this circumstance, the TV had an auto output through the optical cable. In some situations, you might have to go into the system settings of the TV and change the output speakers from TV speakers to optical out or RCA out. Now we're going to cover the MYE Programmer portion. We're going to go ahead and program the programmer to receive the channels. So the first thing we want to do is go ahead and power up your programmer. Make sure your 9-volt battery is plugged in. This time we're going to go ahead and press and hold the volume up and channel down buttons at the same time until we see P1 populate on the screen. Here you'll see 8 different options for the different transmitter types. Need to select the correct transmitter type in order for the channels to be received properly. Please make sure you select the correct transmitter type according to what's at the club or what you are installing. For this video, we're going to be selecting P1 because we're installing a MYE transmitter. So we're going to go ahead and press the TV button and it will start auto scanning through the channels. Once it is done completing the scan, it'll go back to 1. We'll need to press Program to save the file. The display will blink and then you know that the file has saved. Now we're going to cover the manual scan of the programmer. This would be in case you search your channels and you notice that you have a missing channel after your auto scan. So we're going to go ahead, press and hold the volume up and channel down buttons until your transmitter type comes up. Select the correct transmitter type and press Program. This will bypass the auto scan. At this point, you can go ahead and search through the channels and press the TV button to toggle on and off the preset on the top left. This is if you have to add or delete any channels. So on the top left, you'll see preset turned on. Press TV again, preset will be turned off. Once you're done, go ahead and press the Program button. The one will flash and you know your settings have been saved. So now we're going to program the USB. We're going to send the files from the programmer to the USB directly. First thing we want to do is go ahead and insert the USB into a console. We just need power applied. We're going to go ahead and press and hold the program and send button at the same time. This is going to go ahead and put it in the programming state. This will be identified by SND on the actual programmer. Once you are ready to go ahead and send the program, press the send button while you're facing the USB. Make sure that it's facing the USB. You will see the LEDs on the left side working. Once it is complete, SND will stop. Now we're going to program the C console with the MYE USB. Make sure the USB is inserted into the console prior to pressing the following key sequence. We're going to press up, down, time. This will put it in the software update state. The left hand side, you'll see 13 that identifies the MYE. And on the right hand side, that is the percentage of the update itself. Once we have the check mark, console will go ahead and reboot. Once the console has rebooted, we would go ahead, press the up and down to verify that the channels are working on the console. Next, we're going to go ahead and program the X console with the MYE USB. I'm going to go ahead and insert the USB. Going to press Workouts. Now we're going to press up, down, pause. This is going to take us to the main menu. And we're going to follow the same steps for software USB. When you're ready, press Start Upgrade. And the console will identify that the MYE channel list is being updated. Once it's complete, it'll go ahead and reboot, and you will check the channels to make sure that the audio is coming through. We are now going to cover the 50L console programming with the MYE USB. Make sure to use the up-down arrow keys on the bottom right. I'm going to go ahead and insert the USB. I'm going to press the up, down, time, and it'll go into the software state. Very similar to the C console. Once it is in the state, the 13 on the left will identify the MYE, and the 50 on the right is the percentage of the software upload. Once this is complete, the console will go ahead and reboot, and at this time we would go ahead and check the channels to verify that they are coming through. If you have any questions or concerns, please contact your installation training team. Thank you.